For my water project, I decided to create a water wheel. For the wheel itself, I took 2 paper plates and I put them together. I poked holes and used ribbon to tie the spots to keep them so they wouldn't fall apart. In order to catch the water, I decided to use cups. I used cups like this, but they were too big and you couldn't put as many around the wheel, so I cut them in half. So what I ended up with was a wheel with the cups, which I duct taped on so that they would stay, and I colored them. Now, in order to hold my wheel up in place, I went in the basement and I found a piece of PVC pipe, which I poked a hole through the side, and that then would be hold my wagon wheel up. That was actually the easy part. The hard part came next. I first tried using a really big tote, but it was too hard to put enough water in it to then use my filter, which I took from an old fish tank. So I found this small plastic tote, which the filter then sits right on top. So I filled it with water, and then I had to come up with a way to put my wagon wheel so it would stay up. So first, I got a very long piece of wood. It was about 8 feet long, and I probably cut it about this high, and I was going to somehow secure these on here to then put my rod PVC pipe across, but I couldn't find a way to hold this up. So then I cut really long pieces, and in order to hold it up, I used zip ties. I cut a hole through and then I zip tied the piece up. So then the next thing to do would be then to take my PVC pipe and put it through the hole on my wheel. And then I needed a way for the wheel to stay up top, so I just notched out pieces in each side, which this piece I got a little too much, so I had to duct tape it. So then that is how I got my wheel to stay up. So the next thing I had to do was figure out the pump. My first problem was I wanted this part to actually be up high so the water would come down, but the pump didn't generate enough power to push the water up that far. So I had to find a way to get the water to come out. So what I did was I took the piece for the regular fish tank and I cut a piece of tube off a waterbed hose that I had upstairs. So I put a little piece in the top with duct tape that I had to duct tape curved so the water would come out enough to go into the cups, because I had to make it so the water would go into the cup without the cups coming down and hitting the tube. That was the hardest part. So so that is what I came up with. The first time I did it, I had the wooden pieces too high and I couldn't get the water to get high enough to go into the cups to then turn it. So I had to cut these down a little bit. So it took a little bit of work. So the next part is to actually plug it in, and then you got to get it just right so that the water comes out of the pump and will go into your cups without hitting the cups like that. So you got to move it around to get it just right. And there it goes. And that was my water wheel.